except where them hands, where them holes, where them throws, you know what I'm saying? Cecil.
From the confines of the closet in my basement. I used to like doing stuff in here because I felt like this is like what I imagine an engineer or an architect's room would look like a mechanical engineer. And I'm architecting, constantly building what I want to do in the martial arts. So it kind of, to me, it gives me a scientific tinkerer feel. So that's why I like this room. Plus, I can record in here and it doesn't pick up all the stuff in my house. But since narcissism is a topic I've recently become acquainted with, again, I used to read about it a lot, but it never really sank in until I had an opportunity to actually have to deal with yet another one. I didn't realize I've been dealing with these people forever, and I'm probably going to have to keep continuing to deal with these people just because of the type of person that I am, and I accept that. But my question that I'm asking is, can a narcissist earn a black belt? Or can a narcissist be a black belt? Can a black belt be a narcissist? Those are probably really different questions, but they sound like the same thing. I remember a long time ago, I had asked an instructor if a psychopath, should we be worried about what we're teaching people? Because couldn't a psychopath learn this stuff and hurt people? And I don't think his degree is not in psychology, but he has a lot of background psychology because he said his father was a psychologist and he sort of informally trained him. So he's actually got a lot of exposure to psychology. And he says he's always using it even when he's teaching. Now, his opinion was, and I know I'm talking about narcissists and not necessarily psychopaths, but bear with me. His opinion was that a psychopath is probably not going to become a martial artist, not advance very far in the martial arts because it takes a lot of work. And psychopaths don't like work. They don't like stuff that takes a lot of work and takes a long time. So he said, Cecil, you don't really have to worry about that. You just expect them to earn a black belt and they're going to quit. They're going to quit on you. They're probably not going to get past yellow. And I think that does hold true even with narcissists to a degree, but it doesn't. Since I'm not a doctor and I'm not qualified to really say per se, I can just say what I think. So take that in mind. You would have to ask somebody like, what's her name? Dr. Ramani. Is it Dr. Ramani Darvasula? But she goes by Dr. Ramani. Someone like that, or like Michelle Reeves, would actually know the answer to this question. I'm literally in this dark room that's got major shadows today, probably because of this camera. I'm just literally right now talking in the shadow because I don't know. But my guess, so that's what I'm saying, my guess is they can and they can't. I'll go with can't first. From what I've been learning about narcissism, since you have to focus so much on other people if you're at a decent school to become a black belt, since you're not going to be the center of attention before black belt, a narcissist is probably not going to earn a black belt because it's going to take too long, it's going to be too much pain, and it's going to be too many blows to the ego. And martial arts are a very humbling experience, especially when you're coming up to the ranks to get your first black belt. You don't get it without having lost a bunch of times. You're going to, they used to always say, you're going to lose more times than you win. There's going to be people, their foot's going to be upside your face. If you're doing a grappling arts, you're going to be choked out. And then, if you do like I did, like if you get a black belt in the striking arts and then you go over to the grappling arts, your black belt over here don't mean nothing over there because it's a completely different skill set. So you got to be humble again. You got to be broken down. And then you got to work your way back up through the ranks. And I think a narcissist is just going to be like, ain't nobody got time for that. Same thing if you came from the grappling arts and then you want to go strike, then you're going to be lit up all over the place. Even going from like, I've seen, even when you go from like a taekwondo to boxing, you get in the boxing ring, they're going to light you up with those hands. Now, I've seen people that did boxing try to come over to the taekwondo side of the house, and they getting kicked like, oh, I'm not used to feet. Oh, my God. So because you're constantly having to lose before you win in the martial arts, it's probably not likely that a narcissist could really become a black belt. Now, the yes is, do I think a black belt could become a narcissist? Yes. If they've already acquired the skills and then they receive a significant enough psychological wound and they resort to narcissism to fill that void, then yes, I think a black belt could become a narcissist. So I don't think a narcissist could become a black belt, but I do think a black belt could become a narcissist. Meaning they'd already have to have the skill and ability first, or especially if they've been trained up from young and then they were 13, 14 years old and got their black belt, then they're one of those people that are fortunate enough to have that type of training. Then when they get out there in the date mate world, they're already first, second, third, even fourth degree black belt. And then they receive the huge injury or trauma then, something that affects their minds, their sanity, or their emotions then. And then to recover from that, they don't turn to the tenets of their martial arts. They go to the dark side of the force, for lack of a better term. Then I could see a narcissist, that black belt becoming a narcissist. Because when I look at it, I was like, when I read about this stuff about narcissist supply and everything else, I'm like, I can't really think of a better place for you to get that than if you like have your own class, or even, especially if you had your own school or something like that, where everybody's constantly deferring to you, people are constantly coming to you, and you know how people like to put martial arts instructors up on a pedestal. And that's how a lot of times you hear about some of these instructors becoming predators. And you know, they're doing things and they're taking advantage of people, but it's because of the power. You have a lot of power when you are head of any sports club, and people have all these dreams and ambitions. They want to be famous, or they just want to feel powerful, or they just want to feel safe or something, and they think you're that conduit to it. That's when you have to go back on your tenets and have your character. Because I could see, yeah, if you gave into that and you already had this other hole in your life that you need to fill with something, you could start narcissisting, if that's a verb. I could see that happening. So basically, long story short, I don't think a narcissist can become a black belt, but I do think a black belt can become a narcissist. And now, like Freddie Lee was saying, God, I hope this doesn't drown out my voice, this motor. He was saying in his videos that he thinks that MMA, he said MMA and Japanese styles, because they're so hard and they're so yang, that they cater to the ego and they are the styles for narcissists. Not necessarily. I see his point, but I don't think it's a style. That would be another case of you had somebody that already had this foundation. Because a lot of people that become famous in MMA, it's not like they just came up purely in just MMA. They had traditional backgrounds and then they joined the MMA sport. So they had these other skills that they're using in MMA. Because the really, really good MMA fighters have a strong traditional background. That's still another case of corruption. And I think anybody can be corrupted. Like, they're already on this decent path. And then you start dangling money in front of them. You start dangling women in front of them. You start dangling fame and opportunity in front of them. And especially if you're talking about like a young man, and sadly, some of us who are not so young are susceptible to this too. You start dangling this stuff in front of them. They already feel a void. What if they're this great, amazing fighter, but they can't make a living at regular jobs? Or, I mean, think about it. If the most you could make, I want you to imagine that the most money you can make with your skill set, with your non-martial arts skill set, was $30,000 a year. And someone comes along and says, you can do that thing that you love to do, that you would do for free anyway, and I will give you $130,000 a year. And all you have to do is do the thing that you like to do anyway, that you're already doing, even though you can barely afford it, and you do it obsessively. I'm going to give you $130,000 a year, but you got to act like a douche. Of course they're going to do it. Especially how we treat young men anyway in this society, be they black or not. Everybody's scared. The guy has muscles. I'm like, I had to deal with it. I'm still dealing with it. I'm just getting older now. The way they act, yeah, they're going to do it. So they can be corrupted. You know, we live in a time, it really does appear to me, like I said, now I'm not a doctor of anything, so you can't really take this as a hard medical psychiatric advice. But it really does, from what I'm saying, it really does look like we live in a society that enables and encourages bad behavior, narcissistic behavior. And then look at it in the media. Like, the more self-centered and narcissistic that you are, the more you're rewarded for it. And people look at people who are narcissists and they're drawn to it because we think that confidence is more important than character. Yeah, a black belt can become a narcissist. So, just to stop this video now, my point is, I don't think a narcissist can earn a black belt, but I do think a black belt can become a narcissist. And if you want me to give you a case in point, and I did a video about this a few years ago, I have a video that says, could the martial arts have helped Elliot Rodger? Elliot Rodger tried doing karate. I'm going to put a link to that video below if I remember. Elliot Rodger tried doing karate. Elliot Rodger did not like doing karate, and he stopped because it was taking too long, and he felt like he wasn't good at it. And I think he stopped at like yellow, just like my teacher said. He stopped at yellow. I really wish Elliot Rodger had kept going. I wish he'd kept going. I think that would have given him the self-esteem enough to, even though it's not going to completely fix your life just because you got a black belt. Because I've seen people that have problems. Just getting the black belt enough is not alone. Enough alone is not enough. You got to get it, and then it's those habits that you picked up. You exercise, you're used to sticking to a goal, you're used to goal setting, you're used to being disappointed. Oh, you get knocked down, you literally get knocked down and get back up. Hopefully that will transfer into your soul and your spirit and your mind, and socially that when you're knocked down, you get back up. But he gave up because it took too long. So that's the case in point of a narcissist not becoming a black belt. Now, cases of a black belt becoming a narcissist, I'm not giving those away because then I'm style bashing and then I'm attacking people. Then I'm the bad guy and I'm not going to do that. But I'm pretty sure that some of you watching this video can think of famous and non-famous examples. Probably people I don't even know, but you probably know of at least one martial artist, even if you don't know them personally. The one that does come to mind is famous person, and it's a famous person I haven't met because I've met some famous people. If I've met you by the time, look at my mouth. If I've met you at the time of this video, I'm not talking about you because the first example that pops to my mind is someone I have never met him. I shouldn't have even said the gender. I've never met him. So if you know me, I'm not talking about you because I don't know this person. And I will say, it's not Michael Jai White. Leave Michael Jai White alone. I'm just a Michael Jai White fan. That's why I said that. So thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people who like to talk about the martial arts. Thank you for your time as always, and peace.